What's up everyone, Andrew Baena here, and on today's video we are going to be checking out the Laney Digbeth plugin from Aurora DSP. So as you heard in the demo song there, it works really well for low tuned bass, which was of course the first thing I tried out with it. So in this video I'm going to go over the specs and features of this bass plugin, show you the preset that I came up with, as well as a few examples of other presets that are included in the plugin, so you can get a vibe for a few of the different sounds that you can get, and that's pretty much it. Before we get on to that, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by Aurora DSP, and I want to give them a massive thank you for working with me. I've never worked with this company before, but the two plugins that I used in this video from them are absolutely awesome, and there's also a free 14-day trial for the Laney Digbeth plugin. So if you like how it sounds at the end of this video, the link to that is going to be in the description and the pinned comment below. Go try it out for yourself. With that being said, let's switch over to the desktop view so we can dig into the guts of this plugin. Okay, so let's dive into it. I have the Laney Digbeth plugin open on the screen, as you can see here. First, I'm going to show you a little bit of the solo tone that I made for my bass guitar, because I think it turned out pretty awesome, and it sounds like this. So yeah, as you can hear, even all the way down in drop G and actually drop F sharp at the end of this song, I actually think it sounds pretty awesome and has a ton of low end, almost too much low end now that I'm hearing it by itself, but in the context of the full mix, I thought it sounded really good. So anyways, next up I'm going to walk you through some of the features of this plugin. So when you're looking at this main screen here, this is kind of your signal path along the bottom of the screen here. So we're going to start at the left. So first and foremost, you can actually see that it has a crossover point with a low cut and high cut. So basically what this section does is it allows you to process the high end of your bass and the low end of your bass individually, which, as we should all know by now, is very important for that modern metal sound. So this is basically where you select where the crossover point would be, like so. So once you select your crossover point, this is basically where your bass tone will be split. So you have your high end being processed up here and your low end being processed down here. So we're going to start with the high end. First up, we have a pedal section. So this has 3 different plugins from Black Country Customs, as well as one pedal from Aurora DSP themselves. So we have the 85, the Custard Factory, the Black Heath, and the Gamma Burst. 2 of these are distortion type pedals. One is an octaver, and then one is a compressor. You can also drag and drop these pedals to actually rearrange the path, which is pretty awesome as well. Next up is the cab section. So we have 3 different cabs available, all from Laney, of course, which makes sense with the theme of this plugin. So we have an 810 cab, a 410 cab, or a 212 cab. You can also control how dark or bright you want each of these cabs to sound, and you can also unlink it so you can have a different cab going on for the bottom end and the top end if you want. In addition to that, each cab also has 4 different mic options, so you can play around with those using this drop down menu there. Next up, we have the actual Digbeth amp itself. So this is where you can see all the different controls of the amp. One of the coolest features that I actually found with this is actually this final knob, which is the tilt knob. So this basically takes your whole EQ section and shifts it up or down, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of tailor where you want the EQ to lie. I wasn't going to play anything till the end, but I'll show you what I mean right now. So you can see what I mean. Basically, it's taking all of the EQ controls and entirely shifting them up or down as you see fit. We also have controls for the FET volume, the tube drive, and the tube volume, and these are also mixable with each other. Or you can entirely bypass the tube drive by just turning this knob on or off. Next up, we have an effects section. So in this section, we have an EQ, a sonic optimizer, as well as 2 different limiters. And then the last thing in our signal path is, of course, a final EQ at the end of the tone, and this also features an additional additional limiter if you need it. Now we're going to move back to the bottom end of the tone starting here. I didn't use this part personally, but there is a compressor with side chain capability. There's also, of course, the speaker cab selection. So like I said, if you want the bottom and top end to have different cabs, you can totally do that here. Again, we have the same effects options being EQ, sonic optimizer, and 2 different limiters. So you can have individual control of all 4 of these effects on both the top and the low end. And then last but not least, we have this final knob, which is the Mammoth processing knob. So what this basically allows you to do is add a maximizer at the end of your low end and a bit of growl. I personally did not use the growl because my tone was already way more distorted than it needed to be, so I didn't need to add additional growl. So at the top of the plugin, you can also see all of the different presets in this drop-down menu. We have default, factory, a bunch of stuff coming from Aurora DSP, and then a few artist presets. And of course, if you make your own presets, they would go under the user section. So what I'm going to do next again is show off a soloed bass tone, and I'm just going to basically cycle through a bunch of the different presets so you can hear a few of the different sound options that you can get using this plugin. Again, we'll start off with the tone that I was using and go from there. So that's of course only a few of the different options, and like I said, you can totally make your own tone, and it's kind of interesting because you can totally bypass the amp section entirely, which I've noticed that a lot of these presets actually do. Actually, the first tone I was originally going to go with did bypass the Laney Digbeth head entirely, and then I changed my mind and ended up switching it to this one, which I thought sounded a little bit better. Okay, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and again, a massive thank you to Aurora DSP for sponsoring this video. Like I mentioned in the beginning, if you like how the Digbeth plugin sounds, be sure to go check out the free 14-day trial to try it out for yourself. The link to that is going to be in the description and the pinned comment below. And while you're on their website, be sure to check out the other plugins that Aurora DSP makes. Like I said in this video, I was also using the Absalon plugin for my guitar tone, which I thought sounded pretty good and is a relatively simple plugin to use for a quick and easy guitar tone. Anyways, before I get out of here, I also want to give a massive thank you to my Patreon members whose names are on the screen at this point in time. If you're interested in audio downloads, stems, guitar tabs, or a shout out on the screen like these lovely people here, you can find all of that over on my Patreon page, which is also linked in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.